What's the ugliest name you can think of? Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy. Thanks. Gaylord Buttram. Found him randomly in the phone book ages ago. Poor bastard. My ex-girlfriend and her family claimed to know a set of twins, boy and girl, named Anthony and Anthony, named after their father, Anthony. I had a boss whose legal last name was Reflexio Rip. He died too young. I finally had to ask what's up with the obviously made-up name. If I remember correctly, it was the name of his band when he was in high school. The reason for the name change. His original last name was Snodgrass. He really hated his last name. I knew somebody here in my country named their kid COVID Rose. I bet the child would spite their parents. XA12. I once knew a girl named Felony. I couldn't believe it. Some people shouldn't have kids. The designer for Mount Rushmore. Hashtag guts on Borglum. In Finland there is name YRJ that translates to vomit or puke. Crentist. Both of my grandmothers had very unfortunate names. My grandmother on my father's side was supposed to be named Iris and her twin brother Morris, but her mother was completely illiterate and had a weird southern drawl, so those birth certificates ended up with their names spelled Ars and Mars. Both had their names legally changed for obvious reasons. My grandmother on my mother's side went by the name Vicky for as long as I'd known her, but while I was helping her go out and get her mail one day, one of the letters was addressed to a woman named Estrella. I brought it in and told her she was got someone else's mail, and she just sighed and said, "Nah, that's me." When I asked her why she went by Vicky, she said, "Would you want to be called Estrella?" All I could say was fair enough. I'm sure there are worse ones out there, but Norman Reedus has a son named Mingus Reedus, and I think it's so awful. Gruntilda. I really hate the name Bertha, and do not understand why anyone names anybody that. Olga and Helga are right up there too. McKinsla. I know a woman whose name is Duff, and when I say Duff, I mean with a lowercase d. She gets all PC if you use a capital D. Who the fuck names their kid Duff? Crispy Bacon. Gubnate. Irish name. Pronounced Gubnet. Ironically means bringer of joy, probably through people laughing at it. Bentley, King, or most names after luxury products. I went to school with a Dorcas. Apparently it's biblical, but why the hell would you do that to someone? Navia. Princess Consuela Bananahamak. I know a Turkish girl called Humus. Gertrude. Krunk. Engelbert Humperdinck. Ashla. Kayla, or any normal name with obnoxious spelling. Spurgeon. Gonzog. Pronounced in the French way if you can read it that way. Apparently that's what my grandfather wanted my mother to name me. Thank God she had her wits about her. Puzzleheaded _1377. Tell him large Mars sent ya. Quagmire. Anyone else here scrolling for their own name and glad they haven't found it? IDOWthe mom thought it was pretty. Knew a family in elementary school with 3 daughters named Justice, Liberty, and Freedom. Hortense. The traditional Scottish girl's name Morag is unfortunate. Hyacinth Bucket. Thanks to the movie, Norbit for a boy, Rasputia for a girl. I really dislike Caden, and sadly it's what my nephew is gonna be called. Urethra. Princess. Seriously, there are parents out there that name their daughters Princess. I went to high school with a girl named Skatesia. Her friends called her Sket for short. IDK if they knew what scat was a synonym for. I just had a phone interview with a Clay Appleberry. 3 nouns, 1 name. Renis me, can't believe it's not up yet. That one Reddit who almost got named Shagufta. My ex's last name is Farahay. I joked about naming our first child Hirafe. I had a customer whose name on her ID was Shiniga. My previous favorite, and I swear to Odin, her full name is Velveeta Bacon. Bendover. Beryl is always one that comes to mind, but there's a woman in my hometown who had the misfortune of being born into the Raper family. Her given name is Catherine, but only God knows why she chooses to go by Cat. So yeah, Cat Raper. Gangrene. Bertha. Abst, which is apparently pronounced like ABCD. Sounds like a parent setting up their kid to be bullied for life. Kazimoto. Husqvarna. In my country, there are female names that translate as let a boy be born or let girls stop being born or something like that. It doesn't sound terrible, but the meaning is awful. I would hate my parents all my life for such names. Dolores, it's cruel. Jehoshaphat. Josh. 50 years now and I haven't met one that wasn't a dick. Latrine? That's an unusual name. Latrine? How did your family come by it? Cletus. Eunice. Beulah. Josh. I have never met a Josh that wasn't a giant douche. Wayne King, unfortunate name, nice guy though. There's a teacher at my high school named Ms. Cooch. She's desperate to get married. Mildred. Julia. She broke my heart. Keith. Thomasina seems clumsy as fuck. Just put Boxcar in front of their actual name. Boxcar Beyonce? Feels like a huge insult, doesn't it? Prudence isn't pleasant sounding. Hildegard. I don't like the name Matthew at all, the way it sounds and the way it looks.